Now then, how are you doing? I hope you're well. I've been out and about in Wharfedale again, seeking out one of the most remote farmsteads on Grassington Moor. Well, despite being a little on the windy side, the sky was mostly blue and the walking was very enjoyable. Yet when it came to painting the subject in watercolour, I just couldn't resist the temptation to make things a bit stormier. This is Grassington in the heart of the Yorkshire Dales, perhaps best known to some as the setting for the fictional town of Darrowby in the recent remake of the popular TV series All Creatures Great and Small. It's also a very arty place with galleries galore and a whole host of interesting cafes and pubs to dip into along its busy main street. Step just beyond the top end of the main street, however, and you'll find miles and miles of moorland to discover, rich with Bronze Age burial mounds, the remains of medieval settlements and ruins from the lead mines that played such an important part of Grassington's history. There is a wealth of natural features here too, of course. I for one love to see the limestone pavements punctuating the rolling landscape, and the mind simply boggles at the endless miles of dry stone walls and makes one wonder about the people who built them. Well, there's an abundance of wildlife here too. On our walk, which followed the route of the Dales Way long distance footpath, as well as lots of sheep, we saw curlews and lapwings and were delighted by some of the meadows we saw, absolutely bursting with wild flowers. Every good walk should have a target, and today's target is Bear House, known locally as Barras. As residences go, this is about as remote as you can get. It was lived in by the Capstick family up until the 1960s. These days it is bare by name and bare by nature, and used only for storage, although it was given a new roof in 2001. Whichever way you look at it, this would certainly be a wild place to live, at least by my definition. It's a long way to pop out for a pint of milk, and I'm pretty sure Amazon wouldn't deliver here. With extensive views up and down Wharfedale and a misty Pendle Hill crouching on the far distant horizon, it's the perfect des res for someone who prefers the quiet life. Well, today it's windy, making things difficult for the drone, but when the wind drops and the sun comes out, it becomes a quiet, tranquil place. I've painted Bear House many times over the years and in all conditions. From a painter's point of view, as I survey it from all angles, I know that I want to try and capture the essence of the place, its loneliness, its exposed location, maybe something of its history. To convey all of this, as a painting starts to take shape in my head, the only thing I do know for sure is that lovely blue sky is going to have to go. In watercolour, what to leave in and what to take out is always something of a challenge. One of the common errors I see in the work of new students is that of trying to put in every small detail and not editing a scene very efficiently. So let's address those two issues separately. When someone takes up watercolour for the very first time, one of the frequent things that I hear is just how much the process makes them look at the world around them and makes them realise just how much they were taking for granted. Well, that's a significant moment and an important realisation. But the potential knock-on effect of that is that a new painter then feels some compulsion to include every tiny thing they see with their newly discovered skills. The result can seem undisciplined and cluttered. When someone looks at a painting like that, they may struggle to fully appreciate it and perhaps not know quite where to look, particularly if their eyes are not being guided in any specific direction or if the painting lacks an identifiable focal point. A skill that new students need to acquire, what we all need to acquire and refine, is the ability to prioritise elements of a composition and reduce it to manageable forms, for both the artist who's painting it and the viewer. One approach that may help you is to consider this. Aim to convey your visual message with as few brushstrokes as possible. Trim things back to the bare minimum and make that your starting point. I'm not saying that every painting has to have an aggressively minimalist approach. Of course I'm not, that would be ludicrous. But if you can see through the complex details, see the underlying shapes of objects within the scene and concentrate on those, then you may stand a better chance of creating a painting that is both coherent and meaningful. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. You know, we don't always have to paint subjects exactly as we find them on the day. Sometimes it's fun to simply try and convey how a location makes us feel. If you enjoyed this, please do hit the like button. It really does make a difference. Or why not become a studio member of my YouTube channel? With that, you'll get instant access to the full-length version of the demonstration, from which this has just been a very small extract, along with a bursting back catalogue of full-length demonstrations, all for you to enjoy at any time. As always, there are other sign-up options which you'll find in the description below. In the meantime, take care.